Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Ray, and welcome to Inner Secrets Revealed Kabbalah class with Dr. Gil, with our new teacher, who I will introduce shortly, Dr. Gil Tivon. He is an author of many books that have been translated into multiple languages. He's a doctor of many fields in medicine, including holistic medicine, psychology, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, couples and family therapy, neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavior therapy, business psychology, coaching, mentoring, and he's also a well-known and respected international lecturer, speaker, mystic, and Kabbalah teacher who has helped many people over the years, myself including, and is now being kind enough to bless us all by sharing his wisdom and putting together these free Kabbalah classes for the world. And above all of these credentials and all of his degrees, I am most proud to be able to call him my friend. Everybody, without further ado, I would like everyone to say hello to Dr. Gil Tivon. Dr. Gil, everybody.
Hi, good evening to you all, and good evening to everyone. So I understand there was some kind of a misunderstanding concerning the times, but it's okay. Mike is doing incredible work. Yes, Mike is doing incredible work, and he is the producer of all this, and he's the one who puts it together. So all the merit goes definitely to Mike. So I will introduce myself shortly after what Mike did say, and it's a short story because we're going to concentrate mainly on Kabbalah and concepts of Kabbalah and dive in. So I was born into a world of mysticism at a very young age. My parents immigrated to South Africa, which for me was new culture, new tradition, new religion, new cliques, new high school, new friends. So I had to peel off the outer shell of other people, of other kids, to be able to have common language with them. That introduced me to body language, to face reading, to palm reading, to all the Kabbalistic world of astrology, numerology, name reading, auras, and many others as well. And with time, this became more than a hobby and rather my passion in life. That's been many years back. And since then, as Mike said, the world has been rolling through. And today, I pride myself on being more of a therapist and a healer for many, many people, as well as a consulting or counselor for many people, one-on-one or in groups. And so what we're going to do in these lectures is discuss very much at eye level the world of Kabbalah. And I will reveal to you many, many secrets in many areas of Kabbalah. Just to mention a few, we will start with the 10 Sfirot, right, the tree of life. This is where we're going to start and understand the first concepts, and we can dwell into that. Every lecture will be about 50 minutes, 50 minutes, leaving you definitely about half an hour to ask questions. During the lecture, you can send questions into the chat. After the lecture, you're able to either send me or Mike through my email or Mike's email, or if you want any kind of private session and consultation, you can definitely turn to my email on a private basis. So it is also very important, since we are people of different cultures, different beliefs, different traditions, different religions, that we are not coming to shepherd, we're not coming to poke or take anything from anyone concerning their religion. Each one, as the statement goes, every person will live by his belief. So this comes as an additional spiritual world, which does not come to change or shake your ground roots and your belief system, but rather add it to your system, apply it to your system, and do with it whatever makes sense in your life, enrich your life with it. So I'm very sensitive and very much respectful of everyone's ways and religions, understanding that this is the core of a human being. So we're not going to deal with this religion, or we're not going to have conflicts about religion, because we are meeting in this very safe spiritual space where we contribute to each other through unconditional love as human beings, that we share the same planet. And this is where I want to have all of you taking this lecture too. So we rather respect each other rather than have disputes with each other, and there's so much that we can share. So if this is the only thing that we're going to achieve through this lecture, this is already a big revolution. So we are going to start with the concept of the tree of life, and I will just share with you, for the people that are watching now and later, and also different time zone. We'll have people from Australia, New Zealand, Netherlands, Europe, England, as well as United States of America and others. I will share with you that we're going to discuss the tree of life. We're going to discuss wheels of the tree of life, wheels from the wheel, the wheels go around, which are incredible revolution, which will show each one of you what's your rectification, what did you come to repeat, tikkun, in the original Kabbalistic language in your life. It will show you the 72 holy names of God, which each one of them has got a certain way of going through this, a certain kind of meditation and breathing to change every area in your life that needs to be rectified, empowered, etc. As well as we're going to go also through the alphabet, the alphabeta in the Hebrew, which has got many, many secrets concerning your names, which means according to your name, sometimes a person is unable to have children. There is no success that you see in the horizon. So we're going to delve into this as well in a very simple, high-level way for you to understand how can you really upgrade your life. And this is all done, given to you for free with spaceless love. And I'm very happy that to share all this knowledge with you. So let us start. So the first and foremost, we're going to start with the fact, what is Kabbalah? So Kabbalah maybe is the most international language that people share today, which became world famous. And Kabbalah really comes from the ancient Hebrew, which means to receive, to accept. In other words, most knowledge that people have is knowledge which is human knowledge. And that human knowledge we can share, and it changes with time. First we use Newtonian physics, for example. Today we use quantum physics, and then came Einstein with the zero relativity, and many others. And I should know because my first PhD is in astrophysics. Nevertheless, these change with time because it's based on human knowledge. Nevertheless, when it comes to Kabbalah, this is a tradition, a way of life that we received from high and above, from the very being that we all believe in and we feel him to be. And by the way, it doesn't have to be, he's not a male or a female, he's a being which is super intelligence, which we're going to discuss also here, because this is the basic of understanding where do we get this knowledge, or the universe, the mind of the universe, or God, or anything that you want to believe in. Again, I didn't come to shake your beliefs. I come to share with you knowledge, and you take from it and adapt from it and embrace whatever suits you. Okay? So the first thing is that we're going to reveal the tree of life. So maybe, Mike, we can put any of the pictures of the tree of life that people will have an inkling, what are we speaking about? So the tree of life really is a system of 10 sphirot. Sphira comes from the word sapphire, meaning we take a white light, we put it through a prism, and then we get all the different spectrum of lights, like in a rainbow. In the same way, thank you so much, Mike. In the same way, if we can maybe enlarge any one of those sphirot, but even in the English, that people can see what is the tree of life. So if we take the tree of life, what it does is it breaks down from high and above, from the divine, from most sanctified way that we don't have a grasp of, all the way down to our world, different kind of concepts and ways which really do exist. This is not a theory, this is not a theology, it's a way of life which really does exist. And I will show you as time goes by that our human body is built this way. So every galaxy, every star, every planet, every organism, every company, business, soccer team, and a human being, of course, we are all built according to the 10 spheroids. So when we speak about 7 chakras in the East, this is a reduction of the 10 spheroids. So the 10 spheroids is much more enlarged, it has different meanings, and it comes to rectify higher understanding of our lives, and that's what we're going to start to do today. So first of all, I want to bring it down to our everyday in life and discuss that there are actually 4 different areas, major areas in our lives. The first one will be career and money. Of course, we need security and therefore uncertainty. So therefore, we all go to work, we all have a career, we all go to university, or we have some kind of a job because we need to survive. So career and finances are of the utmost importance to all of us. We're living in this world. Second is love and relationship. Every human being is created in the image of God. We all are created with love, and we need love. We need a sense of belonging. We need to be loved. We need a family. We need to be loved and love others. And that is the language of the universe. The language of the universe is the language of love. And this is what we're doing tonight. The third thing is health, which is mind, body, and soul. There's not only health of the body, but also health of your emotions, health of your mental capacities, and your spiritual health as well. And together, this forms holistic health, right? And the fourth area is spirituality. For the sake of being to simplify spirituality, we will call it, for our purposes, as my personal growth, my self-development, and my contribution. I wasn't born to just live on my own. And the more a person grows, as a person gets married, as a person has children, as a person goes up the ladder of being a leader in his career, we understand that we need to give over to others. And there's enough to go for all. And the more we give, the more we get. Like I light a candle from a candle, the first candle is not diminished or limited or reduced by me lighting another candle. To summarize, there are 4 major areas of life, and Kabbalah treats all the areas in your life today, need a little greater details of it, which is career and finances, love and relationship, your health, mind, body, spirit, and soul, spirit meaning emotions. And the fourth area will, of course, be your spirituality, how much you develop, how much you grow as a human being, not in height, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and how much can you contribute to others. And we will discuss this as we go along. Now, Mike, if you can bring up just one picture of the tree of life, that will be great, because I can push it, but I don't have the capacity to bring it on. So any one picture of the tree of life will save us. That will be great. So the tree of life really defines what is the source of life. Where do we all get our energy from? Where do we get our spiritual sustenance, emotional sustenance, mental sustenance, as well as physical sustenance? And how far down does it go? So it not only explains the source, but also the process, the journey that we need to take from the source, where we get all our energy from, all the way down to where we become the source, we execute, we become the parents, the leaders, the leaders of other people, the employers, etc. Now, we do know there's a verse in the Bible that says that a man or a woman, a person, is like a tree of the field. What does it mean that we are a tree? And again, I don't discuss right now the Bible, but I'm discussing an analogy. We look like a tree. So for a few years, I didn't understand quite how do I look like a tree, because I started from the bottom and I don't have quite roots down there. And I can definitely move and a tree doesn't. So I didn't understand what it means till I arrived at Kabbalah, which I've been learning for many years. And I learned from many, many great masters, Kabbalah. And again, Kabbalah for those who want to research it, did start. The first one who wrote a Kabbalistic book is actually the first man, Adam. And he wrote a book which is called Raziel, the angel Raziel, which is a very, very secretive book, which is not very famous, and it's a very difficult book to understand. The second one that wrote a book about is the book of creation that many of you know about, and that was written by Abraham, the forefather. Then the Holy Zohar was written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai some 2,000 years back in a cave, and was handed down to us over the ages. And about 500 years back came a very, very holy man. His name was the Arizal, the Ari HaKadosh. He's buried in Sephardim, Israel. And he translated, thank you so much, Mike. And he translated everything to our language. And everything we do today is through his teachings. And unfortunately, he died very young, at 38, because he finished everything he needed to do. And he was like a prophet, because his grasp, his understanding, his ability to see through people and to help such a huge amount of people was staggering. And he left a mark for the last 500 years, so we will learn also some of his writings. And my teachers, my spiritual mentors, are all descendants and all students, one after the other, all the way from that tree of spiritual mentors which I describe now. So coming back to us, each one of us is a tree of life. What does it mean that I'm a tree or a tree of life? So we have to look at it the other way around. Because if you look at it, this is actually where I'm rooted in heavens. So this is that part which is actually my roots, right? And from those roots, I come down, and then my body is the trunk, my hands and legs are the branches. The leaves are my fingers and my toes. And then the question is, where are my fruits? So obvious fruits, there you go, beautiful. Obvious fruits will be children. But many people are not married or don't have children. So what, don't they have fruits? And the answer is, of course they do. Of course you do. How do you? Through your actions. And last week's portion, we read the portion of Noach. And it says Noach was a very righteous man. And the offsprings of Noach were his actions, his very good deeds. So there you go. You have a whole tree of life, which is included within the structure of a human being. And so we have a verse in Job, who was a very righteous man, who said, from my own flesh and blood can I understand God. In other words, we don't have to go up to the sky and meditate all night in order to get, which is not a bad idea, by the way, to get an inkling what goes up in the upper worlds. We have to look into our bodies, and then we understand since we are created in the image of God, and we are the crown of creation, human beings, right? On earth, we can understand from our bodies what is happening in upper worlds. And again, by tradition, we understand Kabbalah means tradition, receiving from one spiritual master to the next for the last close to 5,000 years, actually everything that happens in our lives till today. And there's a reduction of generations. We don't become wiser. Maybe we are wiser when it comes to technology, science. Yes, we know more. But when it comes to the inner knowledge, to the mystical knowledge, to the Kabbalistic knowledge, with every generation, there is a reduction. And we trust very much Abraham, because Abraham is the forefather of all the four major religions. He's the forefather of Ismail, who from him comes Islam. He's the forefather of Esau, from him comes Christianity. He's definitely the forefather of Isaac and Jacob, from which come Judaism. And he's also the forefather of all the forefathers of the Eastern religions, Zionism, Buddhism, and all the others. We can stay there, Mike. That's a very good picture, for example. And that's also in English. This is the structure of the tree of life. So let's just pause a second and make an observation and understand, okay, I understand that I am actually like a tree of life, just upside down. My roots are up in the sky, and I come all the way down to this world, and yeah, I'm right here. But if I look at it and I want to understand because we human beings, I want to grasp what is my source. So this is the first concept we're going to discuss tonight. First of all, How do we Kabbalistically relate to the source? We call it God. You can call it the mind of the universe. In quantum physics today, we call it the unified field. In other words, scientifically today, we don't argue anymore. We know scientifically, if you go listen to somebody like Dr. Joe Dispenza, that we have found the mind of God in the universe. We do know there's an energy field out there which is full of intelligence and consciousness, which changes our perception on life altogether. And this is today scientifically proven. So this is mind-boggling. In other words, it's not anymore whether I believe in it or not. Today it's science proven that we have found in science the mind of God, not as an assumption, as a fact, F-A-C-T, that is measurable. Wow, incredible. So the first concept, how do we relate to this unified field? How do we relate to the mind of the universe? How do we relate to God? How do we grasp this being which is infinite? So what we know about him is infinite. But the word in the Kabbalah for it is Ein Sof. Ein Sof means, and I don't know if there's a chat over here. I don't see that I do have a chat, but Mike, maybe you can write it N-E-N and then dash Sof, S-O-F, which actually means that it's a negative definition. I cannot grasp it. If I have a page in front of my eyes, if I have a paper in front of my eyes, and that paper is too close to me, I can't grasp its definition anymore because it's too close. God, by definition, is a negative definition because I cannot grasp, because I'm limited within the five senses. I'm limited within my body. I cannot grasp anything outside of that. But science today has found there's a place which is called unified field all around us. We are inside it, which is free of time, free of space, full of energy and intelligence. Not that energy and intelligence are separate. No. Energy which holds consciousness. Consciousness which brings about energy. And this place is free of time, free of space. Through meditation, through prayer, we can reach that and touch and grasp a place within us which is free of time, free of space. And this is incredible, because in the original Kabbalah, the way that we describe God in the Bible million times in the Hebrew is with four letters word, which is Yud, Hey, and Vav, and Hey, which means in the Hebrew, he was, he is, and he will be. Meaning, it's a being which is above our grasp. He's not limited by senses or by human mortal body. He is above time, above space. There's another verse there which says, I'm bringing the place with me. Who can bring the place with him? I'm in a place. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. You are in Jerusalem. You are in Sydney, Australia. A certain lady asked me today to join. She's from Sydney, Australia. I'm in a place. Who can state the place is within me? Well, this is this being which is above space and above time. This is what we know scientifically about God. And we only know it in science today after 5,000 years that Kabbalah has been telling us. This is an infinite being which is above time, above space, and that being is called the undefined or the eternal that I cannot grasp. Ein Sof means I cannot grasp the magnitude. Imagine galaxies, and I'm an astrophysicist. You know, I've seen with my own eyes through a telescope in Sutherland, South Africa, neighboring galaxy. It's called Andromeda. The size of it from one side to the other is 100,000 light years. Just imagine seeing such a thing. So imagine, take this and multiply it by a zillion million, you'll come to grasp the immensity, the infinity of what is this being holding, and how small and petite we are. And yet we have an incredible mind, a brilliant mind, all of us. And he chose to make you, to create you into a being. So from the concept of this infinite God, what do we know? How does he relate to us? This is very, very important. It's an emotional statement. So Kabbalah teaches us the next statement, which is God, his inner will, his essence is to allow others to have as much as possible. He's a benevolent being. There is no evil in him at all. He's only good, and his inner wish is to give you as much as possible. He created you ex nihilo. He gives you as much as possible. Family, love, possessions, health, career, ability to write, to read, to compose music, to listen to the world, to see the world, to enjoy the world, to have fun in the world. So this is incredible. This is the reality of what we can discuss later. Where does evil come from? We will discuss it. But it's got nothing to do with the being called God. The being called God is completely unified, completely good, and he created you just to give you as much as possible on all levels. Why do we see suffering in the world? Why do we see evil in the world? We will discuss it. I am living in this world. I check myself. I'm flesh and blood. And so I'm familiar and aware of the issues and the challenges to understand this. You and I both have. When I say you, I mean all of you. Right. So I'm recapping. The first concept is God is infinite and he's not graspable. He's not limited to time, space, or immortal human being. Secondly, he created us ex nihilo, and his only wish is to give you as much good as possible. And now we come into the tree of life, Mike, if we can bring it up again, which means this is where we start our journey. There are certain things we cannot grasp, but I can grasp the fact that I was created ex nihilo. Yes, we know Kabbalistically how many reincarnations you've been through, and there is no new soul right now on earth. Beautiful. Thank you, Mike. Even the previous one, the first one, thank you. And nevertheless, there was a time where you were created. Once you created, you are eternal. Your soul is eternal. You've been in this earth before. You can be here again, and which is incredible. But there was a time and space where God has created your soul and said, I love you so much. I'm going to give you the gift of life. And that's the biggest gift. Time and life is the biggest gift any one of us has. But we are created ex nihilo. So if I will come today and I will want to be a deity and I'll say that I'm God, well, God will laugh at my face, will say, you cannot be, because I created you. Ex nihilo means out of nothing. So this is where the tree of life starts. The tree means there is a beginning and there doesn't have to be an end. We all remember that story in the Bible where Adam and Eve could have lived forever. However, they did what they've done, and they've created or brought evil into their life, and therefore there was an end to their life. But we will learn, and that's why it's called the tree of life, that if we do certain things, if we create in our life certain understanding, certain thoughts, feelings, and behavior, we can extend our lives both quality-wise and quantity-wise. And the spiritual masters that I learned by, one of them died, he was 112 years old. Well, I would love to achieve that kind of age, right? That man never visited the gym in his life, didn't go to LA Fitness. He was just a nice, petite little man that grew up in Iraq. That's where he was born. Nevertheless, he achieved this incredible age. So there is a way, whilst we're using this incredible mystical knowledge, that people can live much longer, but not only quantitatively, but especially qualitatively. Once we understand this, we also should check ourselves in our lives and observe and say, hold on. So if my life is not so good, if I'm suffering, if I'm being abused, if I'm being tortured, if I'm being hurt, is this from God? No, this is man-made. This is man-made. I don't have to live such a life. I can create a different life for myself and live a better life. I don't need to go through this incredible suffering. We will learn how to do so. Okay. So moving forward, we're going to look at the top of this. I don't know if you can see my mouse. My mouse means my computer, right? But maybe Mike can touch it. It started at the top there. We said we are a tree made upside down, connected to the top. This is the first connection. It is so holy, this connection. It's called the crown, or in Hebrew, keter. Crown means that in Hebrew, the keter means it envelops me. It embraces me. It's bigger than me. This is our first connection, you know, where the fontanelle is, where a baby's head breathes and his bones don't fuse till about 3 months. This is where the soul comes into the body. The S-O-U-L, your soul, or in the Hebrew neshama, comes into your body when you are born. When you are born. And we are able to, for those people who deal with it and dealt with it in the Far East, in India, in Kabbalah, and I do it for many years, open that chakra, right? Or that sphera, as we call it in the Hebrew. Sphera again means that prism, that ability to connect to the divine and get more prosperity, more understanding, more powers from above. If I do certain things, if I stand a few kind of conditions within me. Yes, there you go. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. So this is called in Hebrew the keter, the crown, and in the English, it is the crown of all of us. The only sphera, the only chakra, let's call it chakra for those who don't understand the word sphera, which again means that sapphire that connects us to the divine, which is above my head, is the crown. All the other 10, that system, is within my body, within any planet, within any companies, and I work with many companies, within any kind of soccer team, or within any kind of galaxy. But within my body, I have the structure. The atom is made up of this. Quarks are made of this. So the only one that isn't part of me is the keter, the crown. The reason is why? Because it touches, in the language of Kabbalah, it kisses, right? So to say, it engages, it embraces the divine. Part of it is very so holy, it does not have place inside me being a mortal, inside a physical human being. I have access to it, I can grasp it, I can achieve that, right? And the Holy Zohar used the word grasp it, but it's not part of me, so it's hovering over my head. The physical position is right here, but the actual chakra is hovering above my head. I will give you an inkling. When a Kabbalist wants to look at you and to understand where is your future line, your future, he will look above your head over here, and here's where we see your future. Can the future already be seen? It didn't happen yet. Well, Einstein says differently. Einstein says time is already, it's a dimension. We said before. There's a place where God is, where there is no time, no space. Einstein says in our world, time is a dimension. If you're able to access that, you're able to already see the future, even if it didn't happen yet. From our perspective now, this is very important. I'm sitting here today as a Gil. My name is Gil, which in the Hebrew means joy and prayer. And I want to create my future. To create my future. So my connection to the divine, to that which is above, to my highest self is through this crown chakra, the keter. So I'm sitting here and say, I don't like my life today. I do, but let's say I don't. I don't like my life today. Or I would like to rectify. I would like to do things differently. I would like to create a better future. I like my present, but I want to give myself a present today, creating a better future. What is it called in English? Inspiration, aspiration. Wonderful. This is what the crown chakra is about. Touch onto your aspiration. See the direction which you want to take. Think, and I want each one of you to think, how will my life look in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years? Your short-term goal, your mid-term goal, your long-term goal. If you, and as you are today, if you're seeing a projection of yourself today, say, wherever I am today will be the same next 5 years and 20 years. That's not good enough. I want you to be better. I want you to be the best version of yourself. This is what this sephira, this chakra is asking you. It's touching you, hovering above you, and pushing you, be better. You can do better. You can get a better life. You can improve your love, your relationship, your career, your finances, your health, your spirituality, your connection to yourself, your higher self, to God. Do better. Be better. And this growth goes right through life. So even though we graduated, all of us, from primary, from elementary school, from high school, some of us from university, I've been there many, many years, but it's an ongoing journey. we never finish to learn. We never finish to grow spiritually. So the one aspect is inspiration and aspiration. This is where we connect through meditation or through deep observation with our crown chakra. The second thing is faith. Now, it's very interesting that in the Hebrew originally, the word for faith, F-A-I-T-H, and the word for a mother is the same. M is a mother, and faith is emunah, which means when a baby is being taken down into a hot tub as a baby, he's looking out and he's trusting his mother. I know that you're going to put me in this hot tub and you're going to take me out alive and better. He trusts that the food that she gives him and the language she teaches him and the clothes she buys for him and the protection she gives him is going to nourish him and nurture him for many, many years. So she also trains him for life. This is faith. Faith is, I have a proven record with my mother or with somebody, my grandmother, my mother, somebody that really touched my life and loves me. This is the connection we should develop with our higher self and with God. So the first step always will be, and that will be part of your assignment, and it's beautiful. Take it for fun. It's fun. Who are you? Not what you do, but who you are. What are your aspirations? Where do you want to go in life? So the statistics are very, very poor because most of us are in the survival mode. So 95% of the world goes to work and just carrying on following some people like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates that live their dreams. But I want you to live your dreams also. Don't leave your work. Don't leave, L-E-A-V-E. Don't leave your work, but live your life. Don't live to work. Work to live. Work to live. Work to live. Find out in your spare time, after hours, what is it that you're special with. Each one of you was given a uniqueness. You are a very special soul. You are gifting the world with your existence here. God does not start his day without waking you up every day. You are very special, and I mean that. And I cannot do what you can do. I am not more special than anyone else. I am just as flesh and blood as you. I found, and I didn't find myself completely, what is my uniqueness. This is what I'm sitting and giving over to you, this part. But I'm sure that each one of you knows much better in his field than me. He's an expert. Find your dream, live your dream, connect to that. This is your aspiration, this is your faith. You believe in yourself, believe that God gave you that ability, that capacity to find what you are unique about, what is your specialness, and go live it. And anyone in your life that stops you from doing that, we shouldn't be there. Because friends, spouses, family, relatives should support us, empower us to get there. If they're not, they may be too scared that you're going to grow too fast for them. So they're not for us. You can say to them, thank you so much. We love you very much, but let me grow. So faith is very important. In the book of creation, the book of Abraham, the forefather, which is one of the first Kabbalistic books, which I taught quite a few times, and it's quite a difficult, complex book. But what he describes over there is that, or if you can see, Mike, again, that special picture, any one of them, of the Sphirot, of the Tree of Life, you will see there that all of the different kind of Sphirot or chakras, if we reduce it to being chakras, will always be connected to the crown chakra. When we speak today about grounding, about balancing, we're going to learn about this as well. Grounding, I mean, my feet are on the ground, I do breathing, right? I eat properly, I go to gym, yes. But from a Kabbalistic perspective, before you do grounding, you must ground yourself, or rather root yourself with your roots. Connect to your higher self, connect to God, connect to that being. Have a time every day, where you search, where you seek, where you observe, what is my highest self calling me for? And don't worry, God is not leaving you alone. He is telling you, if you listen to this quiet voice, what is your specialness? What are you about? You might be an incredible painter. You might be an incredible sculptor. You must be an incredible organizer, strategic. You might be an incredible lawyer, doctor, of a physician, right? A nurse, whatever it is that you pick and choose to do, you are the best to try to excel in what you do. And the third thing, and again, there is no more and less important, is your willpower. When we speak about the chakra, which is called, or that crown, sephira, three things: your faith in yourself, in that being, the infinite being that science has found today, and he's believing in you more than you believe in him, because he's letting you rise and shine in the world and find your uniqueness and go and do your best with the time that you have, with the finances that you have. And you can always find a spare hour in your life if you have the passion to go for it. The second thing we discussed is, of course, having also the faith in it. And the third thing will be, what is the inner willpower, the passion that you have for it? If I wake up every day to make, let's say per day, $200, let's say, I wake up with so much passion. But if I wake up every day to make $10,000, which we all wish to make that, or like Bill Gates to make a few millions every day, I wake up with a bigger passion. If you find in your life, what is your passion? What makes you tick? What is your highest of call in your life, right? And you are a father, you are a mother, you are a child of somebody, but nevertheless you are entitled for your own private life because you owe it to yourself, because this is your higher calling. And you find that passion, you don't want to go to sleep. There is no need for motivational lectures on YouTube to listen to this and that, even though they're very good. Because you find your own motivation. You come and rise from inside. Where is all this connected? It's connected up there to that chakra. And God is telling you all the time, he's dripping at you all the time, this knowledge, this information, this passion, this observation inside you to feel, to sense what you are about. Right? If it's difficult for you, there are always spiritual masters to find out, and we have an arsenal of skills and tools to help you find what is your passion, what is your calling, and what also your rectification. Nevertheless, right, we've got about 3-4 minutes, and then I'm going to open it to questions to you. Nevertheless, even though you've got a higher calling, there's also things that challenge you, that prevent you, that draw you back so far down in your life. Like we have the tree of life, we also have the tree of knowing good and evil. So the many temptations in our day and age, more than any time in the history. You know, any person can hold today a cell phone, and you've got access to all the things in the world that you don't want to have. So dealing with this as well, couple therapy, etc., I can tell you how many families, how many individuals were destroyed because that chakra, that sphera, which is Keter, which is the crown, gives you incredible zest, incredible passion for life. What waves do we use there? Gamma. Gamma is a very, very, very high frequency of the higher worlds. So most of us didn't arrive at it. We don't know how to access that. And therefore, we want to access other kind of excitements, such as drugs, such as pornography, such as gambling, and all other kind of addictions that people have, food, and or workaholics, and many other kind of sessions. So, as I told you before, this set of lectures is not about becoming angels and hugging trees and singing kumbaya. No, this is about being very realistic and knowing how to achieve it, and being realistic and being very sober and aware of the fact that we've got other forces in us which draw us down. But there will always be fake. There will always be an illusion trying to take us away from our real goal. Instead of achieving that, drawing us down to drugs, to addictions, to temptations, to all kinds of things that will ruin our health, our bodies, our minds, our emotions, our relations, our families, anything that is precious to us as human beings. I want to summarize. I don't want to do too much because otherwise I say, well, this guy speaks a lot, but it's just too much for us. So I want to understand let's just summarize for today what we have said, and those people that Unfortunately, there was time confusion. You'll be able to watch it later and join us next week. Or people that live in a different time zone. Somebody called me today from Australia, from Sydney, Australia. Somebody texted me, and that's 18 hours ahead of us. 18 hours ahead. If it's nearly 8 p.m. here in Arizona, so it's 2 p.m. the next day already. So let's just summarize what we've discussed. One, the first thing is that the source of it all is infinity, which is the man of the universe, God, which is free of time, free of space. And what we know about this deity or this being is completely benevolent. There is no evil there. It's only good. And the only intention is to give us as much as possible to make us grow. It is so infinite that each one of us was given a uniqueness like nobody else. So I cannot do what you do. I'll never be able. I don't have your skills. I don't have your talents. I will never be able to. So we need you to rise and shine. We need you to do that. We understand that we were created ex nihilo, meaning out of nothing. Once we are created, you are infinite. In other words, your time from now on is till infinity. You were given a spark of God inside you, and that spark is so precious, so holy, so gifted, and you must find that gift, and you must rise and shine with it. So the first chakra, the first sphere that we connect to is that crown chakra. When we meditate, when we are quiet and we observe that we can connect to our higher self, to the divine, to God, and we find there faith, and first and foremost faith in ourselves, believing in ourselves. Before that, knowing ourselves. Who are we? Not what we do, but who we are. Benevolent, kind, giving, selfless, or the other way around. We must know ourselves with our strengths and with our challenges and weaknesses, and find spiritual mentors that to try and rectify this. This is what we are in this world for. That's okay. The other thing, aspirations and inspirations. What makes you tick? What is your passion in life? And for this, you have to have a very, very strong willpower, because this world is a tough world. We're all living in it. We don't ask you to be tough. We ask you to be strong. Strong meaning believe in yourself and hold on very tight. Take out of your life temptations and drugs and addictions, etc. Anything that draws you down, that brings you down. Any kind of relationship which is toxic in your life. Nobody needs it. When somebody gets married, it should be a love nest, a sanctuary of love. But somebody that comes home to fights and manipulation and all this every day, God help us, who needs it in your life? You being destroyed and you dying a slow death, instead of aspiring and being empowered and rising and have a lovely, fun life. And that implies to your work, applies to your health and anything else. So we are out of our 50 minutes, which I promised. And now it's open to you to ask. You can do it through the chat, which I cannot see. I think either Mike can bring it up or Mike can relate it to me, the chat. You can write your questions, or you can ask directly in the time that we have together. Please go ahead. Nice to meet you all. Those that are with us and those that are forthcoming later.
Okay, well, we have a couple people with us who are just watching right now. And
Right.
I did have a couple questions, actually, that were asked.
Let's take it one by one. Right. Yes, Mike.
Okay, so somebody has a question about how the 7 chakras relate to the 10 spirit. So how do you get 10 from 7 or 7 from 10?
Right. So by the way, I'd like to encourage all of you to ask. There is no stupid question. There is no question which is not relevant or too simple. My assumption is that nobody knows anything, and I'm the first one that knows nothing. The greatest of knowledge is to know that you don't know, and I'm the first one that knows nothing. So I encourage you to share with me the not knowing and ask. The 7 chakras, and Mike, if you can please bring up the picture of the 10 sphirot, it will be easier for people to understand the answer. The 7 chakras that we have today is a reduction of the 10 sphirot. So all the seven spheres which are in the center, the seven chakras, relate to seven of the spheres. However, we as human beings, we also have two legs and two heads and two hands, and we also have sides. We also have left side and right side, or yin and yang of our body. So the seven chakras relate to the center line, while the spherot relate also to the right and left. In the East, you have this very famous symbol, again, only with dignity, only with respect. I never bring down anything. I'm only comparing for you to understand the difference, where it comes from. So in the East, you have this beautiful famous sign of the yin and yang, of this flow of energy between the feminine and the masculine, as a little bit of evil in the good, a little bit of good in the evil, and we all know this sign. However, in the Kabbalah, we have an incredible revelation and revolution and innovation in the tree of life, meaning there are three sides of it. There's right side of the body, of the worlds, there's left side, and there's the middle. The right side is related to the masculine, the proactive part of life, what we go out and we try to give over to others and influence in a positive way. The left side is related to how much I need to receive. If I don't have my time with Gil, by myself every day or today to prepare this lecture, to have learned, I don't have anything to give you. If somebody is sitting in university and for many years is learning to become a surgeon or a psychiatrist, we respect this very much, because the more you learn, the more can you give over to others. The whole point of learning and receiving is in order to give. This is the left side of the spherot, which we don't have in the chakra system. And the central line is the balancing line. So, whereas in the chakras, we only have balancing and grounding as it is, right? And I've been studying chakras and dealing and treating chakras for many years. But nevertheless, we open up that system completely to right, which is the masculine, left, which is the feminine or the yin, and a middle section as well. And each one describes different forces which influence our lives, and how can we become creators in our own life and shape our own lives in a good way, the way that we wish to. Thank you. Mike, the next question, or anyone else that is able to speak? Or Mike, you can say the next question. I see in front of me Roberto, Gilbert, Silvana. Yes, please go ahead. Mike.
Unless anybody else has any questions right now, I'll just address another question somebody had.
Sure. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand or start to speak.
Otherwise, if anyone would like to speak, go ahead.
Write it into the chat. Otherwise, we're going to let Mike ask the questions. So you have an incredible opportunity, and we're using the miracle of mistake of other people that had a different time zone. So they're not with us right now. They're going to see the replay, to use the opportunity that we are a smaller group to ask you questions and for me to get to know you. Yes. So as long as you are in mute, Mike, go ahead in the meantime till people think about the question.
Okay. So if anyone just has anything to say, you could unmute yourselves at this point. I'll unmute you guys. Other than that, there's one person who asked, how can the teaching of Kabbalah influence everyday life? Can it help us cancel psychological patterns that no longer serve us and help healing past traumas?
Very good. So this is a very excellent, deep question. So there is a science, we call it science, which is called Kabbalistic medicine or healing, which I'm the author of a certain book on that and been doing it for many years as well. And that is, we will learn. So what we're doing now, if you remember the movie The Karate Kid, when he's teaching him wish-wash, that's what we're doing now. We're learning the basic elements. But later on, when we become more experts in that field, I will show you and I will teach you, especially if you ask, how you can also heal yourself. So understanding the different powers at play, which do relate to different chakras, energy centers, as well as organs in our body, we're able to heal everything. This is a very important question. I just want to go into for a minute, to contemplate. Modern medicine treats symptoms. Modern medicine treats symptoms. I should know with 3 PhDs, modern medicine treats symptoms. Meaning, if somebody's got cancer, God forbid, or any kind of illness from normal flu to a bruise, so when you go to the doctor, he will treat the physiological system that you have. So Kabbalah, through the different 10 spherots, sapphires, what it does, it finds the root causes of why do we have this illness, and is able to treat that. And that will always be either emotional or mental, or even higher up in the spiritual connection of you to yourself, to your higher self. So when we understand it, we're more, very good, thank you, Mike, we're more than able to correct that and to fix it and to rectify the root cause. So I will share with you one of my clients, patients, for example. I received his wife as a patient once. His husband passed away. He was a CIA agent, and he suffered for many years from cancer at a very high stage. The cancer was taken out in his higher cheek, and it returned time and again, till about 5 years later, he passed away, he perished because of this cancer. The reason is because the doctors, which are excellent doctors, they really do a good job and they're very good people. They always treated the roots, the symptoms, but they never treat the cause. The cause, in his case, was emotional. He divorced at a young age. He never saw his children again. They live in a different state. There will always be a story behind it, why a person suffers. Kabbalah teaches you very much to understand the root causes and therefore also treats them. Mike, the next question, or anyone else, if you want to speak, you could just unmute yourself and we can see you, and just put up your hand and I'll be able to answer your question. Great, it's a pleasure. This is a safe space. You know, we're not taking it to the CNN news, so you can always unmute yourself and ask. It's all good. Just do it one by one in a nice way. So in the meantime, Mike, go ahead. Next question.
Okay, well, no one else has a question right now. There is another question about there being more than 7 chakras, and that there are, you have your crown chakra that is,
right.
You can collect, contains your higher self.
Right.
And then you have higher chakras than that.
Very good. Excellent question.
In Kabbalah, how does that relate? Do they correlate?
Yes.
Are they in different dimensions? Or?
Right. So I learned for quite a few years the chakras. I've got a whole bookshelf of chakras. And we actually go to chakra number 12 and 13 as well, around the ears and the higher self. There's also a higher self up there, which is about 3 feet above me. So we do go in the Eastern tradition, which is very true and scientifically proven, to 13 chakras. Nevertheless, all of them have to do with the middle line. Now, in Kabbalah, the way that we treat that, as well as in Eastern religion, is got to do with our auras. So we do know that we have the physical aura around us, and then the emotional, and then the ethereal, and we get the mental, and it goes about at least 1 foot away from me. So we've got also the auras around us, as well as we've got a higher self up there. So if you see all kind of pictures of saints around the world, wherever we want to show any kind of deity or any kind of person that we hold him to be holy, there'll always be an aura around the head and an aura around the shoulders. This is exactly how we understand this in Kabbalah. And so there are extra chakras which are surrounding the body. And this is a higher, more advanced kind of studies. So we relate to them through those auras. Nevertheless, there's a higher parts of our soul. And we will get into this. Nevertheless, going into our body and related to the 10 chakras, or the 10 spheres rather, can really, really go almost all the way without understanding beyond our body. But if you wish, there are definitely ways of doing this. We also have in our office a special machine which is called BioWell, which measures this scientifically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It was developed by Dr. Korkotov from Russia in 1995. Very famous machine, unfortunately very expensive. You place your fingers one by one into the machine and it checks your chakras, your auras, and also give you sometimes some kind of a treatment, through music, through meditation. Very complex kind of understanding. But yes, we understand it and we treat it, and we are very much aware of the other chakras which are around the body, and we call it part of the aura, and we are familiar with them, aware of them, and we treat them as well. Yes. Anyone wants to ask a question, just raise your hand and unmute and yourself and we can see you. Otherwise, we can definitely go on with Mike's questions. Don't be shy. We have a statement by the old sages. We say, if you're shy, you will never learn. So if you got your chance, you just won $1 million, ask a question.
Would you have one
Mike?
question?
Yes.
We have one
Go
question
ahead.
in the chat from Lucas. He says, what is your opinion on the perennialist philosophy of those like, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Guinon or Ficino, who saw Kabbalah as part of an older religion from which others descend? So I
Yes.
just summarize,
Right.
what is your opinion on the
Right.
perspective that all religions come from Kabbalah?
Right. So Kabbalah, there are really 4 levels of understanding or grasping from a human perspective. One we call the pshat in the original, which means the simple meaning. For example, a person reads the Bible, a child of 5 can read the Bible, it will say, okay, Adam came with Eve, he ate from the tree of knowing good and evil, and that's the way I understand the simple meaning. And you can tell me also your story, life story, and I can understand it simply. But if I'm a doctor of psychology, which I am, I can understand it on a deeper level. What is the subtext that will take it to a deeper level? If I want to understand why did it happen to you, what does God want from you? Why did it arrive in your life? Why did you get the flat tire? Why did you get the puncture in your tire? Why did your cell phone go off, especially when you needed it? Then I go deeper to a spiritual reason. That's when we start to touch Kabbalah. So Kabbalah is not a religion. It never was a religion on its own. On the contrary, there are sects in the world that wanted to reject Kabbalah because they were very afraid of it. Because very, very spiritual people used it to create all kinds of beings, including the very famous Golem of Prague, which according to tradition still, I didn't go visit, I'm too frightened to go there, but we do know that he used it to create beings which are like artificial intelligence, and others. People have used it, and we know of them that lived only 50 to 100 years ago, to skip and become a hologram and skip themselves and take themselves from Damascus to Jerusalem, or from Ohio Beachwood to Arizona, with no flight ticket and no going to customs. So this has also been done. So this is very high people that spiritually, that have mastered it completely, to use it. Again, we only want to use it in a good way. We don't want to abuse it. This is called white magic, and when it comes to black magic, we don't dwell into it. I know some of it. I don't teach it. We never use anything evil or bad against any human being, ever, ever, ever. So Kabbalah is not a religion. It's part of an understanding, deep understanding. It can be related to a certain religion, but doesn't have to be. And the beauty about it is that it belongs to all of us, and we all can partake of it. We can all learn it. And as I said at the beginning, we respect very much all religions, all cultures. We don't try to change anyone. You just take that knowledge and apply it to your life. When you hear the recording, you'll see that I didn't mention any religion, and I didn't push it towards any religion. I tried to base it in science and in Kabbalah, and stripped it away from a certain kind of religion that you won't say, he's trying to preach to us. No, I'm not a preacher. I'm just your friend, and I'm sharing this ancient modern knowledge with you. Yes. Mike, next to anyone else that wants to. I don't call people's names because I want to put you on the stage, but if you wish to, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Mike, in the meantime, go ahead. As somebody wants to.
Yes, so if there's anybody else, I'm gonna unmute everyone right now. Yes, so everyone is unmuted.
Right.
So if there's anyone participating now who has a question, please go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Please go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Roberto. Yes. So your question is beautiful. It really is a deep, beautiful, sincere question. And the answer will also be sincere and beautiful, and that is as follows. Part of us, we have a mind which is within our body, right? And that mind is limited. That mind is logical. If you listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example, who's one of the top scientists today in the world that brings quantum physics and makes it very realistic, as I did, I go on a learn by the top of the top in every subject. So you will hear that our mind is very limited and just a calculator. And what we understand in modern physics before Kabbalah is that that mind is within, where we see this on the right. You can see on the right, there's wisdom, chokhmah. On the left, we see bina, understanding. So this already is within our body, left hemisphere, right hemisphere of our mind, where I fathom, I can grasp, I can make calculations, I can understand things within my world. I can even have a vision, but it's part of me. Now, the mind, I'm answering your question directly. The mind, Roberto, is limited by our ego, So, for example, if I want to get a certain way, and I'll give you an example. For example, Hitler in Mein Kampf, right? He writes that the first commandment is not kill. So why did he decide to annihilate so many 6 million Jews and also the Armenians and other people and 40 million people around Europe? Well, he said because they're not human beings, they're termites. Meaning, this is very important. The seat of our passion and willpower is in our hearts. This is what it says over there in the middle, which says Tiferet, beauty. So if I want something, I will make my mind use it whichever I want because I'm limited by my ego. My ego wants to get my way. So I see things in a perverted way or in a non clear way because that's the way I want to. Keter goes a step further. It's connected to my soul, to my higher self. When I go into channeling, when I go into meditation, and the way that we call this, we nickname this crown, chakra, in the Hebrew is ayin, which means it's nothing. If you want to access it, right, Roberto, what you do is you go into meditation, close your eyes, and you annul, you erase, you let go of all the dynamics of this world. You let go of your vengeance, of your anger, of your ego, of all kind of disputes and conflicts you have with people. You let go of time, of space. You just let yourself be. And you yourself be a nobody. Once you arrive at this nobody, then this chakra, this crown, this kete starts to open up, and then you start to receive divine messages. We can access it during our sleep. but better still, we can do it through meditation. When I'm speaking to you now, this is beta waves, which means I'm very much dynamically thinking and I'm brainstorming with myself. When I stop thinking, I go into alpha waves. When I go into deep meditation where I cancel myself, there is no Gil, there is no aspirations. I'm not male or female. I don't have an ego. I don't have passion for what I want to do tomorrow. I don't have conflicts or problems or challenges. Then I access that in meditation, meditative state. Then I access this crown chakra and then I can grasp new things, aspirations, right? About what I am, about where I'm going. Very big spiritual masters can do it for us. But your best spiritual master should be your higher self. You should be able to listen to your own self, to your intuition, which is part of your higher self. Is this relationship good for me? Is this career good for me? Am I reaching my higher self or am I giving up on myself? Am I being lax? Am I going to sleep every day? Whatever used to be is going to be. Or am I changing, doing something with my life which really matters, which really makes a difference to me? And once you find that special diamond inside you, you're going to change the whole world because we don't understand it. But the whole world depends on you, like the whole world depends on me and on any one of you. When you make a difference, the world makes a difference. How many names can you point out to me now, people that make a difference? Well, you'll tell me Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Tell me more. I don't know. These are the top three. Why only them? Why not you? Now, it doesn't have to talk money. It has to talk success. Success is personal, subjective success. When you find yourself, we call it in Kabbalah, the arrival of your own personal Messiah. You are, from your perspective, your greatest self. You rose and shine, and you influence by virtue of being your best self so many other people because you're smiling, you're happy, you're full of gratitude. You want to give over, to flow over with giving and endless unconditional love to other people because you found who you are. What's your calling? Make sense? Roberto, to summarize, the mind is limited by ego. The soul, in Hebrew, the neshama, is unlimited, and that's where I reach it through my higher self, through meditation. Thank you. Mike or anyone else that wants to ask, we've got a few more minutes, and then we'll call it a night or a day. Don't be shy. Ask. Or Mike, if you have any other question there on your list, that would be great.
Yes, well, there is one last question.
Go ahead.
So
Yes.
if no one else has any more questions or comments,
Right.
I guess we'll continue.
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so
Somebody does, they'll unmute themselves and tell us. Yes.
So there was a very interesting question that I got the other day, which is, does our higher self have a higher self that would then be God or the Creator?
Yes. Beautiful question. Beautiful question. And the answer is absolutely yes. So there is a higher self in me, which is a spark of godliness inside me, which is directing me, guiding me, protecting me all my life. But there's a higher self to my higher self, which is God. Now, whenever I have a doubt, how do the higher worlds work? Think of your childhood. When you were born, before you were born, you were a fetus in your mother's tummy. You were nourished, nurtured, you had everything, and you were enveloped in your mother's womb. That feeling, that sense, that reality is an analogy, and that's why God created this way, to the way that you were before you came down to earth. The soul was enveloped in endless love, endless, infinite God, and you were in that upper world. You came to this world, and we're going to discuss it. Why did you come to this world? Each and every one of us. What is the mission that we have here on earth? Is it to go to McDonald's, LA Fitness, eat natural foods and supplements, or just being my profession, engineer, doctor, whatever it is, a mom? Or there is also an incredible purpose, which is a Kabbalistic purpose, why we are here. And this is where we touch our higher self. This is where God interferes or intervenes and says, my dear son, my dear daughter, that I love you so much. I want you to understand while you're here. Some people, it takes them a lifetime to understand, and they die not understanding. Some people are very, very smart. I used to have a child like this overseas. He was 12 years old. He is 12 years old. And he opened his mouth and he spoke such words of wisdom. He said, come sit here. Why am I giving the lecture? You should. So he's just a very wise old soul. So, and some people are gifted in that way, and some people need somebody to guide them. But there's definitely a higher self to the higher self, which is definitely God. Plus, each one of us has got two, let's call them guardian angels, that point the way. The way that you access them, listen to your intuition. Always pay attention to your intuition. I'll tell you a short story for what happened in the States recently. A certain young woman came into a drugstore, like a 7-Eleven, right? Like you have in Japan, 7-Eleven. And she saw at the bottom, she was looking for a can of Coke. She saw at the bottom some kind of a spray which had, the skull with two bones on it. She felt very frightened. She ran out of the store. Now that shouldn't be a frightening thing, but she felt something terrible is going to happen. A few seconds after she ran out of the store, two, masked robbers came inside. Whoever was there, they were murdered. They were massacred. She listened to a higher self. She listened to intuition. Something terrible is going to happen. It was not explainable. It was just a feeling. It's like a mother feeling in the middle of the night, my child is crying. The child is not crying. He's going to cry, but he didn't cry yet. My husband is going to call me. You feel it. You sense it. That brother of mine from overseas is going to call me, and they do. So listen to your inner self. This is the first inkling of your higher self being connected to the higher self. Yeah. One more question, and then we'll call it a night. And you're able to, again, my email is my first name, Gil, G-I-L, and my last name, Tivon, T-I-V-O-N, at gmail.com. If you have private questions, you want to come to private, whatever it is, able to send me an email or to Mike. Do we have any ability, Mike, to access here a chat box that we can all write into, or some of us?
Yes. If anybody is following us right now on Riverside FM, there is a chat room going on. There's also a chat on Facebook, however, going on for people who are watching. And we don't have many questions, just a lot of comments, just, saying, God bless you, thank you for the work that you did and for everything you shared. They learned a lot, and they're looking forward to next week. And, yeah, I think unless anyone else has a question,
if somebody has a question, this is your last chance to come on board for now. Otherwise, you can more than welcome to send it through the chat, on Messenger, to myself or to Mike through Facebook, or otherwise through the email, which I gave you, which is first name Gil, last name Tivon at gmail.com. And more than welcome to, as the time allows, to answer you. If I didn't get around to answer you, it's not because I'm ignoring you, because I just ran out of time for that week. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here. We're looking forward to you and more of you next week, right? And all that they didn't make it because of the confusion with time, hopefully, Mike, we're going to fix it by next week. And there's also going to be a recording of this. And where's the recording going to be published, Mike?
The recording will be uploaded to YouTube, and then I'll be posting it on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter,
Excellent.
everything. Good. So, yes, anyone who wasn't able to participate in this class, this Podclass, remember next week we will be doing the same thing again. We will be recapping and moving a little bit further. So, yes, please feel free to join us again next week. And again, thank you, Dr. Gil, for preparing this amazing lesson for all of us.
Thank you, Mike. Everything is because of Mike. He's the producer. He's the one who organized. He's the one with the idea that initiated us. So I owe him a lot, my dear friend Mike Albert Ray. And we bless you with everything that you want, all the 4 areas of life: health, prosperity, relationship, and spirituality, and all the others that join us for tonight. We thank you very much for being here. God bless and good night.
Okay, good night, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Again, to reach Dr. Gil, it is Gil Tivon at gmail.com. You could also find him on Facebook, Gil Gershon Tivon. You could find me, Mike Ray, on Facebook, or you could find me on Instagram, Michael Albert Ray 11. And yes, please feel free to reach out to us during the week if you guys have any more questions. If you guys feel like participating next time, anyone who is just watching, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will send you the invite in an email. So thank you again for everyone who joined us, and God bless all of you. And I wish you all a wonderful night. Good night.